Well, the creative prompt for our October art shares and other events involves thinking about masks. And there's at least four ways that we might engage this theme of masks as creative people. In daily life, we need masks. We need public versions of ourselves that we can share in different settings. A work me, or another kind of public me, or a hanging out with new friends me, at home with significant others me. And this can be really healthy unless we begin to blur those lines. And I'll come back to that a little bit later. Um, Oftentimes, we develop creative personas. A pen name or a stage name might be the most surface version or set of examples for that. But for some, there's a whole personality that gets adopted. I'm going to use Ozzy as an example, just given that he is kind of in the news a lot, having recently passed. There's Ozzy the human being, and then there's Ozzy the brand, the rock personality. Artists sometimes create a brand. And that's a type of mask. And again, if conscious, self aware, part of their creative expression, no problem. It can be really healthy. And then, as artists, I would say, as creative people, there are the characters that we create in our creative work: stories, poems, songs, paintings, movies, etc. We have to wear them to a certain extent. For example, for me, I have a lot of songs that are not about me at all, but there's a first person singular singing in the song. It's my voice and my body playing and performing, but the character isn't me. And when I sing those, they're in that first person, but not me. I'm in a role, as it were, playing a part, wearing a kind of mask. So even our creative expression itself can be a type of mask. So there's kind of daily life and the different masks that we put on for different roles that we play in life, which can be healthy unless we blur lines. There's creative personas that some of us create to lesser or greater degrees, which again can be very healthy and part of our creative expression, unless we forget who we are and blur those lines. And then there's the characters, the personas, the masks, as it were, that we create in our creative expressions themselves. And again, as long as we don't start blurring those lines, all of that's very, very healthy. But that brings up the fourth expression. I've hinted at this a lot. The fourth kind of way that we might relate to masks. And this is this kind of unhealthy expression where the mask becomes us and we become the mask, where we're no longer aware of the line between me, real me, and those small m me's, and we lose ourselves in those things. We are that mask, even with our most significant other relationships. Authenticity is an overused word, I think, but it applies here. And it begins, actually, with being authentic, with being honest with myself, with yourself. So as a prompt for some new creative work, I would be really curious to see what you or I might come up with related to any of those four ways that we might relate to masks in our own life. Ways we use them, ways we abuse them. Perhaps something new will emerge in our creative work in which two or three, or perhaps even all four of these types of ways of relating to masks might get woven together in a new creative expression. I could imagine a songwriter coming up with a song in which the different verses are these different things conversing with themselves, that sort of thing. Anyway, I would really be curious to see what you come up with and would love to see us share those things with each other. There's different ways to do that. One way is to participate in the October Art Share, where masks will be the theme. And another way is to join our online table membership, which is free, and there's opportunities to post creative work there. You could write us directly if you want to do that, if you're receiving this through a newsletter and you've never joined any of those things or participated, you can write us directly and talk about what you're sharing or what you're coming up with and what you're creating. You could join one of our Zoom sessions for practices and prompts, where I'm sure this kind of stuff will come up as well as we meet together twice a month. All information for all of that is in the newsletter, and but really, I just hope that all of us kind of listen to this whole question of the 4 types of masks and how we might relate to those. And see both what we learn about ourselves and how that might affect us as we are formed into the fullness of who we really are without the masks, and then B, just to kind of see what creative work springs from that. So really looking forward to that, and can't wait to meet with some of you, see what some of you come up with, hear what some of you come up with, and look forward to that in the future. All right. Thank you.